What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Crypto Street Podcast. This is Crypto Dale, programmable Dale today. I don't know where I was going with that, so we'll just cease it right there. A little crowded today. We got a lot of folks on, not more than normal, but we're gonna rock through it. We got some really, really banging guests. So, but as always, I'm joined with my two cohorts, my homies, Killer out in. I'm not even gonna say it because this pisses me off saying sunny California when
Beautiful
balls here.
Sunny, warm California.
Sucks.
Well.
Rub it in.
I want to say real quick, Tyson Fury got robbed last night. I don't know if anybody saw the fight, but complete robbery of a decision. But anyway.
As someone that's not a UFC fan, what happened?
Well, this was boxing. It was Tyson
boxing.
Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Fury was a slight underdog going into it. He easily outpointed him on the cards, and typical true to form with boxing, the corruption ran rampant, and it was a draw somehow. So they're setting up that big money rematch, but frustrating to see. It's a hard sport to watch.
Is boxing really rigged?
Very much, yeah. Almost every big fight has like a questionable outcome, it seems like.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah. They knew your boy had some money on Fury, so they had to throw the fight a bit.
They did. Yeah. He definitely won that fight.
They're like this guy named Prince.
I wasn't too impressed. Yeah, wasn't too impressed with that.
That's funny.
Anyway, though, doing well.
Prince, give us your weather update.
Weather update? Snow. Lots of snow. I got to get out and shovel again. I don't think I'll do a live update picture like I did last time. I just had a bunch
you got torn apart because you wore socks with your sandals.
Yeah, and I don't see the big issue with that. I'm just out there shoveling. I'm making a walkway. It's not like I'm trekking through the snow. So
okay, so here's my 2 cents on this. I know you want to know it. I'm okay with socks with sandals when you're shoveling snow. Like, you don't want your feet getting cold. I get it. Now, if we're somewhere sunny and at the beach and you're wearing socks with your sandals, I probably will make fun of you. But I get it.
I might just do it anyways, just to kind of prove a point. But yeah,
it's like liking your own tweets. It's a power move at this point, right?
I used to wear socks with sandals in high school, and I used to get chirped all the time from people, but I didn't care, right? Because you're just strutting around, you're making a statement. Now I'm seeing it all over the interwebs and the social media that socks and sandals are almost a pretty common thing with some of the kids these days. I'm just looking back, I'm like, I'm going back, and it's like, damn, I was getting bullied and stuff in high school. But, I'm a tough guy. People can try to bully me, but it's not going to do too much.
I bet you 95% of people on crypto Twitter wear socks with sandals. Going to go out on a limb and say that, but
it's terrific fashion.
It's really horrible, but you know what? I get it. It's a power move, and Prince is all about power moves.
Yeah,
asserting your dominance. I like it.
Yeah.
So today we're joined with two awesome guests. Both have been in the space for a long time, Alaniz and SatoshiCat. So guys, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Now, I'm just going to say you guys sound damn near identical. You guys think that too?
Yeah. Way hilarious. Do we? I don't think we do. I think we've got slightly different accents, but
okay.
You're like Americanized English, and I'm like sort of British mongrel type thing.
So let's dive right into how you guys got in. Alaniz, let's have you kind of start out with just give a little bit on how you got into crypto, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I got into crypto in, I guess, late 2012, early 2013. And at the time I was like 17, 18 years old. But basically I heard about Bitcoin for the first time on a Max Kaiser show, on one of the early ones. And it sounded very interesting at the time. I was kind of like, I'd done a couple of courses on economics in high school at the time, and had gotten interested in the topic. And it just developed from there. I've always been very into tech. So I'm doing my PhD in theoretical physics.
Wow.
And yeah.
That sounds awful.
It's probably a heavy workload, right?
Yeah.
It does sound a bit awful, but it's better than it sounds. I have to say. It's pretty chill. It's much better than working, at a hedge fund or a bank or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
a bit
get
more
that.
stressful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've always been quite technical, always been into computers since very young. And so I saw Bitcoin, got interested in it in like a technical, from a technical point of view. And then also from like the economic point of view. And yeah, bought myself, I didn't have a lot of money back then, obviously. But bought some Bitcoin. And then I basically, and so this was like pre the end of 2013 sort of bubble to 1200. And I sort of held Bitcoin all the way through that. Didn't really pay too much attention to it during 2013, 2014. And then in 2015, I got into mining, basically. I did some mining, like early Digibyte mining. And yeah, I got involved with some developers in Digibyte, started developing for Digibyte, and then that's kind of like my inroad into the wider crypto space. And that's kind of when I sort of became a bit more public on Twitter and Telegram, all the social media stuff. Yeah, and then we lived through 2017. We survived, and we survived 2018 so far. So.
We're all just surviving, yeah.
So before we get to SatoshiCat, Alan, is real quick, does this bear market kind of compare to any that you've seen in the past?
I think I lived through the bull market this time much more. So I was much more active during the bull market, trading actively, trading a lot of altcoins, things like that. So I guess I'm paying more attention, so it feels worse. But I mean, on like an absolute basis, on percentage levels, it's comparable. So
Okay, cool, thank you. So SatoshiCat, let's hear your schnick on how you got in and all the good stuff that.
Well, I actually lived with Alaniz IRL for a bit. And this was at the time when he was getting into Digibyte. And I was just like watching him fuck around with these altcoins, making money out of the internet, out of thin air, basically. So I was like, what is going on here? I have to figure this shit out. This was like early 2016. And I just put a little bit of money in and started reading white papers, understanding the tech. And gradually I just fell down the rabbit hole. Decided to do a PhD in Bitcoin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a first. So I don't know anybody doing that. Yeah.
I was finishing a master's in theoretical physics. And I was like thinking where to go. Do I go into AI? Something like that. But then I like basically decided cryptocurrency is the future. So yeah, since then I've just been all in every day, reading crypto, learning economics, like trying to figure out a niche to build out something for Bitcoin.
So how is it? You're doing your education now, continuing on and more into the cryptography and crypto assets and all that stuff. How is it? How is your program, your schooling, like maybe because I don't think really, it's kind of unheard of, right? It's like not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty new, isn't it? Like,
So
yeah, well, when I started, there was barely any research papers, like compared to other like tech fields. But since like between 2016 and 2018, there's just been a mass proliferation of research. Like I'm pretty sure every university now has an academic team working on blockchain.
Yeah.
Most financial institutions do as well.
How's the program?
So it's pretty much determined by me.
Okay.
So I read based on what I think is relevant at the time.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's free, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they will, in the sense that it's free for me to choose where I go, and what is interesting, and there's no constraints put on me based on my funding.
Nice. So if someone were to want to pursue this, where would you send them? Or where could they
Pursue
go?
research in crypto.
What's that?
Do you mean pursue research in crypto?
Yeah, like what has helped you the best, find out and just for someone new coming in?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. You just got to go deep into it.
It's like you said.
Like start with the basics, mastering Bitcoin, learn some cryptography. I guess you should know some economics if you want to see the value of these cryptocurrencies in the real world. But it's so broad, it's like hard to say. You should.
There's so many different avenues too, right? Like there's the altcoin route, then there's Bitcoin and all this.
Yeah.
Now, are you working? I know Alaniz he says he's done some he does dev work and all that, and Digibyte was one of the clients he was in with. Do you yourself are you kind of into it with any coins, any teams doing some dev work?
Yeah, I'm working with Alaniz on Catcoin and
nice.
the meme chain.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about that project? You're saying it's called Catcoin?
Catcoin?
Kek.
Oh, I am sorry.
I know this coin.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Also known as Pepe.
Yeah.
I've definitely traded it before.
Of course you have, Prince.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. Like, when did we start this? Like August last year?
Yeah.
Oh no, even before actually. Like I think we started working on this maybe April, May, June last year, 2017.
Okay, cool.
And at the time it was just kind of, so as I mentioned, I'd worked with the Radium team a little bit, but that was more on like not so much the protocol development, but more like apps on top. So like Digibot on Telegram, Digistats at the time, and a couple of other small projects. And then I started working with the Radium team at some point in 2016. And yeah, did some work with them, did more protocol development there, sort of expanded my understanding on like a technical level. And then, I don't know, at some point in 2017, me and SatoshiCat thought it would be good and instructive and educational to like take Bitcoin, or we strictly speaking, we took Blackcoin and we forked that. But basically the idea was take Bitcoin, clone the repo, see what we could like change out, and see if we could build a network and a community. And then obviously just making a cryptocurrency just for the sake of making a cryptocurrency doesn't make much sense. One should use Bitcoin if that's what you need it for. But our idea was we wanted to, in a low-cost way, integrate IPFS. So have you guys heard of IPFS?
No, not that familiar with it. Why don't you give a brief explanation?
Yeah, so IPFS is the Interplanetary File System, and it's you can kind of think of it like a torrent network.
Yeah,
it's kind of a way to SatoshiCat.
It's a distributed storage network.
Okay.
Yeah. So Filecoin. Yep. I guess you guys will. Yep. Yeah. So it's the storage network behind Filecoin is IPFS.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like they've already built that out, and that's like live and functioning. They're just building the blockchain incentives with Filecoin. But so we wanted to effectively use that to host memes, or in more generality, just content.
Yeah.
And then be able to reference it from a blockchain. So you can take transactions on the blockchain which kind of reference that reference the content on IPFS in a certain way. And so you're able to by just looking at the blockchain, which you can get in a decentralized manner. You just hook up a node and you download the chain. By just going through the blockchain and looking at the transaction in the blockchain, you can sort of reconstruct all the content from IPFS without it needing to be stored in a centralized website or a database or something where you can reference it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think we could say we're in some sort of beta of that.
Yeah.
We've got like a test meme chain.
And you can interact with it through Telegram.
Okay.
Yeah, you can interact with it through Telegram for now. We're building out some sort of like native desktop UI. But yeah.
So are you
that's
guys are you guys kind of running with it, and like are you guys like the main developers right now?
Yeah, we've got a couple of other people which pitch in various different ways. But I would say we're the main people that actually write most of the code.
Okay.
What is your like hope for the project? Like, let's say we can fast forward like a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. Where do you see it, or where do you hope to see it? I guess at that point.
Yeah,
I think it's like fascinating how you can build cyber economies, like mini cyber economies on the internet, where there's some incentive system that drives an application. And what this is, for me at least, is like an experiment into how you can do that for the application of the meme chain. And
yeah, it's kind of fascinating, is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think more to the point as well. Like, to some extent, we see some sort of global trend towards sort of more censorship, or at least more surveillance and things like that. And I think this is like one of the ways you can sort of circumvent that. So for example, in Europe, I don't know if you guys will have heard, but in Europe, they're passing these laws called Article 9 and Article 13 or something, which basically make it a bit of a pain in the ass for content. So like YouTube allows users to upload their content. So they basically want to make a law that says that if any hoster like YouTube gets caught hosting users' material which is under copyright infringement, they get like a huge fine.
Oh, good.
And they want these providers to effectively filter it before it gets uploaded. So if you upload, say there's like, I don't know, some song that it's in the public domain, but it's technically under some copyright, and you upload a video with it, normally, like right now, that doesn't get flagged, or that doesn't usually get
it's pretty
deleted from YouTube. Yeah, it's pretty rare. Like that will become much more common, but I think that's the idea of the law. Like I haven't gotten too much into the legal details, but there's kind of that trend that we want to.
The way it's set up, like it would really kind of hamper the spread of memes online, just because it would make almost anything copyright infringement, is the way I've understood it when I've been reading about it.
This is why it's being dubbed the
It's
meme
like a
ban.
crazy law.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of our very small contribution to the reaction to that, effectively. Because it's obviously stupid.
Politicians, anything to get their name on something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like on one hand, I'm surprised it got as far as it did, and on the other hand, I'm completely not, just because, like, you know, I think a lot of politicians are out of touch. And
but it's ridiculous because it kind of partitioned. They've already kind of done that with GDPR, but it kind of partitions the internet into like Europe, and Europe has these dumb laws, and then the rest of the world, America or whatever, like the rest of the world has a certain set of other laws. It's not very. Doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. So is that kind of the main selling point, would you say, to like, let's just say like the average Twitter user or the average crypto enthusiast who might want to use KeckChain, and it just, is that the main incentive for them, like an incensorable place where they can view memes and things like that?
Yeah, view and upload memes. I think that, so for the average sort of user, let's say, I would say that, yeah.
Cool. Do you guys ever miss your work in physics? I'm wondering. Does it still kind of call you in any way? I am wondering if there's any kind of intersection between blockchain and physics.
I don't do physics anymore, but Alaniz does.
Yeah, so I'm still doing my PhD. So I mostly, like, most of my time is taken up by doing the PhD. But then, yeah, like time can stretch.
Yeah.
You don't need to like, you know, you can do various things, and depending on how efficient you are, you can do both. Like I don't have much trouble combining my contributions to Catcoin and like my general crypto stuff with my PhD.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Okay, that's now in the bear market. It's obviously there's less froth, so there's less to do, but it's a bit different last year.
Yeah,
for sure.
How did you handle that? I'm curious because doing a PhD program, that's it's heavy workload, and then being in the middle of one of the most insane bull runs I think the world has really seen. How did you handle that?
Yeah, I don't know. Took it. It just happened. Like I at some point when because I was actively trading alts at that time, and like at some point there was just so much activity and there was so many things going on that I was going into uni to show my face, but then I would just be huddled like behind my laptop trading basically. We're looking at charts or like talking to people, whatever, like just generally interacting with crypto. So I kind of maybe ignored my PhD more than I should have back then. But then now is a great time to sort of fix that, which I think I've done. So
I remember going to
class.
class.
It was like super motivating.
Yeah, you go on.
My PhD is basically all about Bitcoin. So.
I think that's the coolest thing. Like just doing it focused on Bitcoin like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is so cool. Because that out here, like,
it's
not really something you find. Like it's where I'm at. It's unheard of, right?
So let's get your guys' input. Maybe let's talk about the current market. Just see where you think things are going. Obviously, everything that they say. You do your own research if you're listening. This is just their opinions. So go ahead and see what you guys think.
Yeah, so I think anybody that can read a chart to any level can understand that we're in a bear market. Obviously, that anyone that has to understand the percentages. But I don't know. I also think to a certain extent, anyone that expected when we were sort of above 15,000, even above 10,000, like anyone who thought that the current rate of increase would keep on going, like that was that made it doesn't make much sense. Like if any kind of asset whatsoever, like behaves like that, and it's not some sort of hyperinflationary, the currency is going to shit or something like that, but it's just normal functioning of an asset, and it goes up that much, like you have to be taking profit at that point. Yeah. So especially if you're in especially if you're sort of what like people call OGs, like if you've been in since 2013, 2012, even 2014, 2015, if you weren't taking profit, I don't know.
You don't know what to say. It's like
it
just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then since then, obviously since the start of this year, we've been in a bear market. Bitcoin has seen these multiple times. It's not dead. The Bitcoin blocks are still being added to the blockchain. The price is not zero. Tech is being built out, like Lightning is being built out, Backed, and all these exchanges are being built out. All the infrastructure is being built out. The miners aren't going anywhere. The price is corrected from a very abnormal rate of return, and that's what we've seen. And now we're here.
Now we wait. 2020 is the next halving, I think, right?
Yeah.
Now we just
I think that's. I mean, I don't know. History won't repeat itself exactly. Obviously, but I don't know. There's the whole halving event and everything surrounding that, and all the economics behind that. I think would support the price going up.
Totally.
Towards that. It's like that. I think that's happened at least twice in two of the holdings.
And if you just look at like market cycle timing wise too, I mean, it kind of makes sense that, you know, I don't know if we've had the final washout yet or if we're in the midst of that right now, but I feel like we're somewhat close proximity to that wherever it is, you know, whether we just had it or we have one final washout, whatever. But it kind of lines up that we would have that and then a period of protracted just flatness and boringness. And then, you know, after like an excruciating period of that, then we finally start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, maybe late 2019 into the halving. It kind of lines up like story-wise that way too.
Yeah, I think it lines up very well with like how Bitcoin has behaved in these bubbles before as well. So 2013 had basically a very similar pattern. And it's almost replaying. It's not replaying exactly, but it's replaying quite closely. Similar behavior, and then that would suggest that exactly what you said is going to happen. Like maybe we haven't seen capitulation fully yet. Maybe there's another, as you called it, like a washout, and then there's going to be boring sideways for a year or something, and then towards 2020, once all the new infrastructure starts going online, we can see the price start moving up again. I think, like consistently moving up.
So for you two, do you guys find yourselves actually doing any active trading right now, or do you find yourself more focusing just on you know, your dev work and all that stuff?
I mean, for me, now is the time to think about accumulating, especially in terms of alt markets.
That's true.
But I try to trade as little as possible and try and make those trades as asymmetric as I can.
That's, you know, and that's such like, there's so much validity in that, you know. It's like, because even myself, you know, when I'm, you know, kind of doing the statistics and going over my past performance, there's a lot of times where, you know, if I would have just sat still and, you know, just didn't try to be flip-flopping all the time, profits would have been a lot more. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I kind of don't. So I don't do much like BitMEX futures or any of the real degen stuff. But yeah, like SatCat, I'm trying to focus a bit more on my PhD because I'm getting towards the end of it, and so it requires a bit more attention. But I'm definitely like still looking through alts, seeing how they behave, buying some up, like. Yeah, just it's been like this. It's almost scary how repetitive at least the altcoin markets have been. Like it just seems that they follow the exact same cycle and like the exact same emotions replay themselves every single time. And you know, it's just weird.
I would say that makes sense for a subset of alts, the ones with the projects that are actually still being contributed to.
Yeah, so I think this bear market will wash out a lot of the real shit.
Yeah,
like,
which is good and needed in my opinion.
100%. Like it's gonna be so good for the space to just clear like all the scammers, like all the ICO bullshit that's not legit, like all, like yeah.
Yeah, and did you guys see what I don't know when this CCN, whatever news thing that is today, said that the SEC's next move is social media influencers who promoted crypto ICOs. So, you know, that.
Yeah, I made a joke on my Twitter about that. I think I retweeted. It's like that. How did people think that would play out? Like, I would really like to know. Like, come on. Like,
that's right? The thing, right? Like, you gotta know it's coming. Like.
Yeah, like if you haven't made like 10 mil and you're chilling in like the Bahamas or somewhere where there's no extradition treaties and blah blah blah, and like that's where you are, then you were stupid. Like,
and then I see a lot of people. I wonder if people think too, because they put in their Twitter profile that, you know, nothing is financial advice. If that's gonna,
that's not
gonna cover them.
No,
I think
it
what
won't. There's no way, but I wonder if they think that.
I think what they said though was if it's cool if you disclose the fact that you got paid. So if like in a tweet you would then say, oh, by the way, like this ICO is paying me X amount of tokens for this tweet, then I think they would be okay with that. I think that exists in stock markets, like stock
Yeah, 'cause
promoters.
I know like a lot of celebrities on their Instagram do the hashtag ad or whatever, and I think that's
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
I think it's a sort of thing too, where like that thing happening was like extremely rampant. And if you look at resources wise, I mean, they're only really going to go after, I think, the most egregious examples. And among those, you know, Floyd Mayweather, DJ Khaled, celebrity endorsers, people who like really make a move in the needle, I would say.
Ian Bull, you know, super.
Yeah, the thing that gets them the most like bang for their buck kind of thing as well. Like if it's Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled, like it's gonna be a headline. It's gonna be, you know, everyone's gonna hear about it. If it's some like guy with a dog face for an avatar on Twitter, or like crypto,
coming after you, crypto dog.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens to John McAfee and his
coin. Oh my gosh!
Oh, he's Exhibit A.
Like he was so blatant. Just like let's just manipulate a market. His coin of the day stuff, like everything. Just like I think. But you know, he's probably got his team of lawyers already set up in his.
Apparently, this news just got in. It's on Abacus Journal. I don't know how reliable that is, but CBOE, VanEck, SolidX all meet with SEC Commissioner Eland Roisman. Approval confidence high. Bitcoin SEC ETF meeting.
Really?
Yeah.
Breaking news. Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Well, breaking the stories. That's interesting because pretty recently, I think like people have been saying, "Oh, we're a long way from an ETF." All this manipulation and all that. You know, it's like the narrative on that shifts quite frequently. So.
Yeah, I think the ETF, once there's like proper custodianship, like when hedge funds can be very, very confident that the Bitcoins are in a safe spot and they have insurance or whatever, then like that's when the institutions.
I was hearing I was reading something like it's kind of an interesting, you know, the custodian situation, because I know now a lot of the, you know, funds that have been kind of getting into it, they've just been doing their own. You know, they just hold their own. And so how that evolves, it'll be kind of interesting. Like I just, you know, I don't even really know what to think of it and how it'll evolve, but like
the thing is, like, I don't know, for example, some like a big pension fund or a sovereign wealth fund, maybe a sovereign wealth fund, but like a big pension fund, these things, they're not gonna, like, there's not gonna be a guy in the office with a ledger with 10,000 Bitcoin or whatever, and that's how they're, you know, like that's just for like hedge funds and maybe family offices and stuff, like that's reasonable. Like they can have their own in-house kind of key management thing, but
it's very situational.
So looking at that tweet from the Abacus Journey, that article was from October 23rd, and so then they said they replied to someone that commented on that and said, "Please read our pinned tweet." And their pinned tweet says, "Over the next 24 hours, our feed will highlight the significant scale of institutional entries into the crypto ecosystem." So
weird. That would be good to see. Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah. I just don't think this is going away.
No.
Like all these people like Rubini and like, I don't know, all these like, oh, look at me, I've got a Nobel Prize, blah, blah. Like, I think a lot of them are full of shit.
Yeah. They like the media attention, you know.
And Bitcoin gives it to them as well. Like Bitcoin's very, very good at that.
Yeah.
And you look, especially now lately, more than ever, we have seen the articles coming out that, you know, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin is going to zero.
Right.
Did the same thing not happen after the 2013 bubble? Like it definitely did.
Every time, right?
Bitcoin's dead. Oh, crypto is dead.
It's like, you know, even just like we got, you know, the market cycle, we got a news cycle. It's always, you know, and I bet you we'll have another run up again at some point in a year or so. And we'll have the same similar headlines coming out that we saw that marked the top last time, you know.
Right.
Just like, you know, the market is a cycle, the news stories, they seem to cycle the same.
Yeah. It's the people say that like price follows news. I would say it's the other way around mostly.
I think so too,
like News follows the price.
Just a way to try to give a narrative, right? It's just like
sentiment follows price. You know, people feel good after the fact, or they feel bad after the fact. They let the price dictate what is happening with the protocol. Basically,
Mhm.
it's kind of nonsensical, but it sort of does make sense when you realize that money and investment and gain are driving a lot of this.
Yeah.
And so, it's interesting though, because people always want a reason. They always want to go, oh, well, there was a comment on the ETF and that's why it went down today. And a lot of the times it's just kind of the market leading the way and the news reacts to that.
Yeah, like people have to attach a narrative to what they see on the chart.
Yeah, it's like this desire for understanding, that we all kind of have.
It would have been Nicole at Duke that we had on recently, and she was saying like, yeah, it really just comes down to somebody just sold. They just started selling. It was like, yeah, that is exactly it. Like, it's as simple as that. Somebody just
go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. She sounded a lot better saying that though than you did, I will say. Oh well, guys. I think that kind of wraps up everything we had to talk about. Is there any final parting words you guys want to say here?
Maybe some motivation to like all the people that feel completely wrecked because they bought a 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check the fundamentals on Bitcoin. Don't follow the price.
Yeah. Like price is just one element of the whole space. Like focus on the other parts of the space now. The price will just correct itself.
Yeah.
When the time is right. So.
Yeah.
Just put it in your cold storage and check it in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not that long.
If you held this long,
as long as you're cool, like as long as you've got like, do I have a Lambo? I do not have a Lambo. No,
even if I could afford a Lambo, I'm not buying one. Sorry, I'm gonna go out there and say
it.
That's you're signaling the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks guys, SatoshiCat and Alaniz. Thanks guys so much for your insight. This is a little different than what we normally have, so I think it was really good for everyone. So hopefully everyone enjoyed. Remember to go and subscribe to our YouTube and our iTunes. Give us 5 stars if you like what we have. If you don't like what we have, send Prince a DM and let him know what's going on. I'm sure he'll be glad to get back to you. Thanks everyone tuning in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was fun.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work with this podcast. I enjoy it every week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks guys. All right, take it easy guys. Hootskis for the boys. Tip that waitress. We'll see ya.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Yeah.